What is up, YouTube? Hello, Party Parrots. Today is Patch Day in Marvel Snap, which really means it is Datamine Day in Marvel Snap, or New Card Day in Marvel Snap, because we have a ton of new cards, ton of Datamines to be going over, and we have some really spicy cards coming in the Season of Gods and God Killers. Yes, the Asgardian season we are going to be getting in November. But really quickly, I do want to say not what is in this patch, which is a lot, but what isn't. Because unfortunately, this is the first month since they've released cards that we haven't been able to see the at least 2 months ahead. Usually we can see like almost 3 months, but we have not gotten data mines for the abilities of cards coming in December. Now, this could mean that Marvel Snap is trying to rein in on the data mines, the leaks, to so that we don't know what's coming out. I really hope this is not the case. I do think it is important to note that all of the evidence so far has been pointing to a Marvel Rivals crossover event in December. So it could be that they are specifically trying to keep cards for that crossover because it hasn't been announced yet until there's an announcement. So while it is very unfortunate that we're not getting these, and I know a lot of people look forward to these data mines to plan out how they should be spending their keys if there's cards coming up that they're excited for, and I do too, so it's very problematic. I hope this isn't a trend going forward, but for all we know, they could be contractually obligated not to be releasing things for this crossover until it's actually coming over. So maybe not all doom and gloom, but like I said, we do have some incredibly cool cards. So let's go into some of the newest cards that are coming in the Asgardian season in November. First up, we have King, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Eitri, uh, a 1/2 with the activate ability of draw a card that didn't start in your deck. And all of the data mines, I want to say this, seem to be pointing that this is going to be the Deadpool's Diner card. We know that that is returning next month in November, and it makes sense that they would be putting another card in there as a reward. Everyone seemed to enjoy that with Cassandra Nova, and I really hope this is the case because I gave this card a 5 star. Would blow my mind if they were giving this card away for free because this card is, I think, going to be not just powerful, it obviously works with cards like Thor and Beta Ray Bill, which I think is a huge flavor win. It also obviously works with Thanos and Erishim. Both of these cards are shuffle random cards into your deck, shuffle stones, he'll draw you a stone. I mean, why wouldn't you play a 1/2 activate draw a stone in a Thanos deck? Or a 1/2 draw a card in Erishim? Like, that is incredibly strong. Plus, because it's an activate, you could actually play Thor on 3 and activate this ability on turn 3, meaning you don't need to worry about like Mighty Jane Foster, the Mighty Thor, like having to, oh no, I drew all my hammers and now she's not even going to draw me anything and I kind of miss out on draws. No, you could play Beta Ray Bill and activate on the same turn, guaranteeing you get it in hand. And the reason also why I gave this a 5 star is because I think this is going to be a card that's going to be a must have for collections. Because I do not see any world where we do not get more cards that shuffle cards into our deck. Like I said, we already have Airship, we have Thanos, we have the Thor and Beta Ray Bill, but who knows that if we're gonna have Chthon shuffling the Darkhold into our deck at the start of the game, or maybe Cap Shield is an on reveal, shuffle it and an random opponent's card into their deck and it into your deck or something, and you could activate this, return the shield, something crazy. There are so many different uh ideas for cards of shuffling cards into your deck that I know for a fact that this card will only get better as Marvel Snap grows. And again, it already has homes in Thanos, in Erishim, in Beta Ray Bill. So I had to give this card a 5 out of 5. I really hope we get this as a Deadpool's Diner. And if we do, you're gonna want this card. I can promise you that. And coming in spotlight caches, we have Malekith, who is a 4/6 with the on reveal of add a 1, 2, or 3 cost card from your deck here. It reveals at the end of the game. And this is a really interesting card because we do not have a lot of deck thinning. Just looking at this card as a 4 drop that pull something out of your deck is very reminiscent of Jubilee. And a lot of the decks that we've seen that play Jubilee are generally ramp decks, but are also trying to get to specific cards. They're decks like Living Tribunal that need to hit that Living Tribunal, or decks like Hela that need to get to that Hela. And this is, again, doing something very similar. It is going to be pulling a card out of your deck, essentially drawing and playing a card for free. Now, it does have the stipulation of needing to be a 1, 2, or 3 cost from your deck, which does also make you more likely to draw a 5 or 6 drop if you have them in your deck on turn 5 and 6, which again, that deck thinning sounds really nice. But then you have to realize, what do you want to be pulling with Malekith in like to reveal at the end of the game. And there are a couple cards. Tech cards are an obvious hit with Malekith. Cards like Shadow King or Killmonger, if you're able to pull one of those out, you could get around bounce. Doesn't matter who has priority. If you pull that Killmonger with Malekith, well, it's going to reveal at the end of the game and destroy all their one drops. Same thing with Shadow King. Doesn't matter priority. It doesn't matter. If you pull that Shadow King with Malekith, it's essentially going underneath an Invisible Woman, which is really cool, I think. And then you can also use it a little bit proactively. Cards like Sage or Hitmonkey. If you pull like Sage, and I don't know how easy it's going to be to put Malekith in a Hitmonkey deck, but something like Sarah Control could actually do something like that. They could play tech cards. They play tech cards like Shadow King and Killmonger and Hitmonkey and Sage. Both would be really big cards that you don't want to play until the last turn. I also really love the idea, and maybe this is too spicy, but playing Malekith in like a Master Mold Maximus Ronin deck, because one of the problems with the Master Mold Ronin lists is your 2 drops, which enable your Master Mold, or sorry, your Master Mold and your Maximus, which enable your Ronin. You can't actually play those early because then you're drawing your opponent's card or giving them cards. But with Malekith, you can basically tuck them away until that last turn, charging up your Ronin. Or it could be something like Mystique. You could pull out a Mystique and then play your Ronin on the final turn, and then when the Mystique flips up, it'll copy that Ronin. So really interesting card. Again, I think that deck um thinning aspect might go a little underrated on Malekith. And I gave him 3 stars. I think he's really interesting. A good stat line too as a 4/6. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't see him like breaking the meta or anything. At least not right away, or with this stat line. But I do think he's a really interesting card. And I also love the fact that as someone who designs in some of my spare time that I have so much of, I like to think of possible future Marvel Snap cards, design my own. And this design was actually really similar to my own Malekith. My Malekith was like a 2/4 that was on reveal. The next card you played was disguised as Malekith and didn't reveal until the end of the game, which was very similar to this one. So I just patted myself on the back with that one. But again, I think this is a really cool card. A lot of interesting deck building decisions with him. Next, we have the Ice Titan himself, Lauffey. Lauffey is a 4/5 with the on reveal of stealing 1 power from each other card here. So that reads as your opponent's card and your own. Now, if you do the math, if he's going to affect 4 cards on your opponent's side and 3 cards on yours, if you're assuming a full lane, this is a 419 in stats, which is crazy. Now, you do have to consider that if he's shrinking your own cards, then he's not really going to, be gaining that 2-point swing. But because it's stealing 1 point of power, unlike a card like Man Thing or US Agent, where if they hit your own cards, they're just shrinking them. Because he's stealing it, he's going to be gaining it himself. Your own cards, you don't actually lose power in that lane. Any card that shrinks by 1, he'll gain by 1. So it's kind of like having an Ajax in a lane that after you hazmat. Ajax is going to get all the power that got hazmated anyway. So, and I think he's going to work great with Ajax because he'll enable your Ajax because again, he is like a bomb. When he gets put in a lane, everything there is going to go down a power and then he's going to soak it all up. enabling a card like Ajax, which is going to be great. He can also enable some high Evo Abomination synergies, which is great because I definitely think high Evo could use a buff, and it wouldn't surprise me if they've talked about giving more buffs to high Evo. If around when this card is released, which we don't know when, he's not in Spotlight caches or seem to be tied to a specific event, so keep a lookout for future videos. Hopefully we will know more soon about when he will be coming out. But uh we know that High Evo has been talked about getting a buff. It wouldn't surprise me if cards like the Thing or even Spider Woman got a buff around when Lauffey was coming out. And then also he just works great with Luke Cage because I believe the way that it would work was he'd steal that power from your own cards, and they wouldn't actually lose it with Luke Cage, but he would still gain it. So he seems almost like a better version of Man Thing in some ways. Obviously, not quite as powerful as Man Thing, but I think he's going to be sneakily really good. I gave him a 4 out of 5. I'm really excited to try him out with some Ajax, try him out in high Evo, and just try out the Frost Bomb himself here, Lauffey. And finally, we have our cards that got changed. First up, we have Frigga. Frigga went from a 4/6 with the on reveal of add a copy of the last card you played to your hand to a 3/3 with the same ability. And I actually think Frigga is going to be a sneaky good card. I've seen a lot of people down on her, but if you think about what cards work with Frigga, it's cards that just have good stats or good effects that are you want to play early. Cards like Demon, cards like Silver Sable, Cassandra Nova, US Agent even. And if you look at all of those cards I just named, all of those cards are seeing a ton of play in some of the top decks right now. And if all of those cards are great to get with Frigga, I think that she might actually see play in some of the top decks. I think she might be a speed-esque card where she's not very exciting, but she's just doing something really well, much like speed is. And you're going to see a lot of the top decks play like how they're playing speed are going to be playing Frigga because turns out, on turn 4 playing a demon and a Frigga is really strong. Or playing Frigga on turn 4 to pick up your Cassandra Nova and then playing another Cassandra Nova is going to be really strong. I don't think you want to be like trying to catch like a 4 drop or even a lot of 3 drops. Like, I don't think you want to be like, how can I get like a Sage that was already 10 power to. I think that's going to be too crazy, too cute for Frigga. I think you really just want to be grabbing like a Demon. Like I said, a Cassandra Nova, US Agent, so that way you can put another US Agent on the field because it's not bouncing it. So you will keep that first demon. You'll keep that first silver sable and just have another one, which I think is actually, like I said, going to be a sneakily powerful card. Then we have Gore the God Butcher. He went up 2 points of power from a 6-3 to a 6-1. I think this is actually a really good change. I was brewing a lot of ideas with Gore, and a lot of times I was like, okay, he's probably going to end up being like a 6-14, 6 or a 6-13, 6-15, which for a kind of build around all in 6 drop, I think you want a bit more stats than that. And I think a 6-17, 6-15, 6-19 is right around that sweet spot. So I think that's a good change for him. And then we have Searcher, who's going to be the season pass card, going from a 2/2 with after you play a card with more than 10 power, it gains +3 power to a 3/5. And this is a huge boost to him. Not only because 3/5 is really good stats, but because now if you play, say, him on 3 and then play a Crossbones on turn 4, he'll go up to 8, and then Arrow or a Sasquatch on turn 5, he'll go up to 11. You'll have 3 cards with 10 or more power. That means Scar will be free and Scar will trigger Searcher. So I think that's going to be a pretty easy Scar deck right there. I think he's going to be really powerful in that with that 3/5 stat line. And wouldn't surprise me if that went down to a 3/4. And then really quickly to go over the Spotlight caches. That first week, we have Frigga, Red Guardian, and Copycat. I think this is going to be a must-have week for a lot of people. Red Guardian is a phenomenal pet card. Copycat is really, really good statted as a 3-drop. Then we have Malekith, Athena, and Valentina. So if you missed Valentina, this is a great week to pick because you'll be getting a new card in Malekith. And Athena has consistently been one of the highest win rate cards since she has released. So if you're missing Athena, and also some great art on all of them. And then Fenris Wolf. which was the only card that actually didn't get changed. But he's releasing with Werewolf by Night and Annihilus. And if you're missing either of those, I think Fenris Wolf is going to be really powerful. And both of these cards are great to have in your collection. And then we have Gore. Gore is releasing with Havoc and Legion. Both of these are Series 4 cards that have been out in the game for a while. So if you're missing them, though, a card like Legion is really powerful, especially with the War Machine combo that's currently going around. But I think that overall that this week is a bit weaker, and it's probably because they know how powerful and excited everyone is going to be to get Gore. But that does it for this month's data mines. Unfortunately, again, we don't have that December, but hopefully we'll have it next month. And for now, though, leave me a comment down below. How do you think I did on my ratings? What cards are you excited for? Are you brewing around Gore? Are you excited for uh, Malekith or King Eitir as I am? Let me know. Leave a comment down below. And for now, though, I will see you guys all in the next video.